Hello, people. This is just a a video about democracy, so I guess a lot of people won't be interested. But I feel so frustrated on what I'm just seeing lately, and the way that democracy is going in this country with the media controlling everything. It's unbelievable. You know, a democracy, as you can see on screen, a democracy is meant to be for everyone to have a vote based on how they feel. But the problem with that, based on how we feel, is also controlled by the media. The media can put people in a state of control, and they don't even know it. If you read a story, you're going to think, well, is that no, that's true? It's in the paper. You know, all the spin and all that crap. It's just unbelievable. And you know, this leads me on to the next thing. You know, what is an MP's job? I always thought an MP's job. Well, as you can see on this page now, an MP's got three main groups, and by the looks of it, the only way I'd turn that around is I'd say the constituency's number one for an MP. Then, personally, I would say the political party comes second, and then Parliament is the third. But this is where things are really messed up within Labour at the moment, because what we have at the moment is we've had MPs putting their political party and their own careers first. You know, they done a coup. Now a coup is an attack. It's a clear attack on democracy. I'm sure if I were to do a search for this, well, as you can see, a sudden, violent and illegal seizure of power from the government. Obviously, they would do it. Well, yeah, they were doing it from the leader. So that tells you everything. How the hell can the Labour MPs feel like they've got any power to demand anything from their leader? It's they didn't go against their leader. They've destroyed democracy by attacking. By doing this coup like they did, they clearly attacked the fundamentals of democracy. I know there's a lot of people that don't like Corbyn because of his views or whatever, but the fact of the matter is, over a year ago now, he won in a fair democratic process between three colleagues, and he was the fourth, and he's put his points across to the membership. By the way, I'm not a member of the Labour Party whatsoever, no member of Momentum or anything like that. But I'm just an outsider that's online a lot. I read a lot of about democracy and all that type of thing. So, but he won a fair democratic leadership contest. It was just a fair contest between four MPs to become the leader. And Corbyn won that quite easy. Over a year ago now. But there was some MPs within that was never, they're never going to follow him. We know that now. He's just won another leadership contest with an increased majority. Let's face it, this contest, the latest one, was a rigged contest. If all the people wasn't banned, Corbyn would have got way more votes, and they know it. That's why they banned as many people as they could, because they didn't want him to get a bigger majority win. That's the only reason why they banned. I think it's something over like 200,000 people of the membership was banned because of stupid things, and I bet that will come out that half of them was banned for no good reason whatsoever. And that side of the party's got themselves into a hell of a mess, because they're going to have to answer for that. Now, Corbyn's stance is pulling back and saying, well, no, I don't want I want to just get on with attacking the Tories. That's all well and good, but Corbyn needs to wake up and realise they're not going to fall in line with him. What's really amazing to me is a lot of them's doing this not because of policy problems, not because they don't really believe in what he's saying, because what he's saying is typical Labour values. They're disagreeing with it. They're blaming him for the fact that they had to forgo on what they believed under the Blair leadership. They're blaming Jeremy Corbyn for the fact that they had to give in on their principles under the Blair leadership. That's wrong. The MPs are wrong. They're blaming Jeremy for something when they should be blaming it straight at Tony Blair, because it was Tony Blair that made them do that. Jeremy Corbyn was in that party at that time, but he never went round telling them all to give in on their principles. That was their choice, and they're blaming Corbyn for that now, and that is just the most childish and pathetic thing that they can do. And to keep going on TV blaming, saying that he can't win over voters. They really should look at what their job is, because part of their job, as you can see here, is to their political party. So when they go on live TV, what they're saying is our leader can't win over voters. And I think, hold on a minute, you're part of the same political party. Part of your job is to get those voters to vote for your party. So when they're going on TV and saying that, they're clearly saying to voters, not membership, voters like myself who's not a part of Labour in any way, don't vote for Labour. But yet they're Labour MPs. What the hell is going on? That's why I know it is not Corbyn's policies. They're finding it hard to attack the policies because they know that they're true Labour values, and a lot of them probably do hold those values, but it goes back to Blair. All of it goes back to Blair and how jealous they feel, because they feel Jeremy Corbyn never gave in on his principles to further his own career at that time in the Blair governments. That's why throughout that time he was always on the back benches, because if he felt it was Labour's Labour's foundations, he would be behind it 100%. But the things that he felt that Blair was doing that was not true Labour values, he stood against it. And because of that, he was punished on the back benches. Now all these MPs is kicking off. They've made it quite, that they done the opposite. They wanted to be in the top level of the Labour government, and they had to forgive their principles. They had to forgo their principles, and they did, and that's fair enough. But now they cannot turn around and start blaming a backbencher who never ever made them do that. It's like they're trying to blame Corbyn because they had to go. It's pathetic. I just do not. I'll tell you what, Jeremy is showing so much. I don't know. I would not be I'm not generally a responsive guy. I'm not but with what he's doing, he's being so passive. It's unbelievable. I don't know how he can manage that in the media, because as we went on about earlier with a coup is a direct attack to democracy, regardless of what party. Let's forget parties for a second. When a group does a coup, it's an attack on democracy, and everyone in this country should never support that. Even though we had the media loving it, lapping it all up and playing along with these people that started the coup, the people, the voters, should have never played. It should never happen, because we've got a set democracy, and it's a foundation. Democracy is a foundation, and as soon as you do something like this, you're attacking that foundation. You know, and that's why I'm doing this video, because I'm frustrated. Democracy has got rules, and the rules stated a year ago with Corbyn and his other colleagues. They went through a fair leadership contest, and he come out of it winning easy. And there's a few within it that just didn't care about democracy and the rules within democracy. It was like, oh no, we're not following him because he never ever followed Blair. And I said, well, yeah, but his punishment at that time was he was on the back benches. He never furthered his own career. And you can't blame the bloke for that. He got punished at that time by never being given any decent decent jobs within the Blair government. And he was happy with that. He just gave all his attention to his constituencies, which is why he's been in politics for so long, because he's a decent guy. And I just don't know how he's managing to last so long with half of his party MPs against him. Then you've got the media overwhelmingly against him and twisting everything they can. Partly because of the MPs, because even the latest one, only yesterday, it was leaked to the papers. That guy about the nuclear weapons in his speech. And I think, well, that was a private message within the party. Who leaked that information to the media? Now, some people who do not want to follow Corbyn. You know, they're still, even after a clear second win, they are still going to keep leaking information to the media. And the media loves it. They will keep lapping that. They will keep lapping that up, and they will love it. You know, until Corbyn puts his foot down and starts controlling internal information within the party, which I think all leaders has to do. You have to have that control. And at the moment, I think Corbyn's trying to do a different type of politics by having it more open. So then all this information gets into the hands that don't like him, don't want nothing to do with him, don't want him to be leader. Again, it's not policy they're doing this for. They're blaming the wrong man for their principles. They forget that they walked away from their principles to further their own career in the Blair era, in the Tony Blair time. And, you know, they feel that Jeremy never did that, so he shouldn't be in the position that he's in, because he never went back on his principles. That's essentially what all this jealousy is about him. You know, they haven't got no principles on his policies, and anyway, they're Labour MPs. They shouldn't even be going down that path. You know, that's what makes me laugh. A Labour MP's job is to convince the voters to vote for their party. But what we've got now is we've got a large number of MPs on every TV channel. All they're talking about is their internal issue of the leader and how he cannot win voters over. And I think, well, the leader can't win voters over on his own. He needs his MPs to be there and to push his policies forward and to support him. And it's clear that a lot of Labour MPs are not doing that. You know, and there was also a lot of Labour MPs, that actually went against their constituency with the coup. None of them. Not many of them. Well, as far as I know, I haven't heard any of them saying, "Oh yeah, well my constituency agreed with me going on the coup." Yeah, because the fundamentals of a coup it's just madness. I cannot believe how this is happening to our democracy. We're meant to be a country that's got a foundation of rules based on democracy, and what I'm seeing now is is those rules don't apply to the wealthy right wing of the system. It's like, no, that don't apply to us. We don't follow democracy. When there's a potential left wing person who is actually going to care for people and actually give the services that the people of this country deserve, rather than keeping it as greed and profit driven, it's so frustrating, because the MPs are clearly telling every voter, do not vote for us. Not all the MPs, sorry, but all the ones that blames Corbyn for them walking away from their principles. But that was their choice at that time. They made that choice on their own. I suppose you could say greed, because they wanted to be in the Blair government, and they got that by doing what they did, and just giving way to their principles and letting Blair have his way and supporting Blair even if they felt it wasn't right. They got that benefit. Corbyn never did. Corbyn went against things. He was kept away from any of the big decision makings within the actual government ministry area. But yeah, it's just unbelievable. I just cannot believe how our democracy has got so one-sided. Even the media is so right-wing. They twist everything he says. And that's part of the reason why he isn't putting his foot down. Because if he put his foot down, that would feed into the narrative of the bully type and how they're bullying everyone. And that's what all these PLP MPs is going to do. Is if there is deselections, they're just going to go nutty saying, oh, we were bullied, we were bullied by this momentum and all this. And I think, well, if you've got a constituency that supports Corbyn and you went on the queue, I'm sorry, are you as an MP, are you telling the country that those people are in the wrong? You're in the wrong. It says it here quite clearly. It's an illegal seizure. You tried to take over the power. Take over by bypassing the simple foundations of democracy. And now they're going on about being bullied. Well, I'm sorry, you just bullied your leader to try and get him to stand down. This is just unbelievable. It's not democracy. The conclusion I'm coming to with democracy now is for the wealthy, is designed for the wealthy, is run by the wealthy and designed by the wealthy. And Blair was of that type, and that's why he was allowed to win. The media's relentless against Corbyn. Obviously, the Tory party, at the moment, they're on rocky ground with May. I don't think they're as solid as the media's trying to make them out to be. I think I reckon they could end up going for another leadership contest if May don't start, pulling them together more. But I don't think she has got that power because what's his name? I don't know, the mayor of London, ex-mayor of London, Boris. He's going off on his own. He don't respect her at all. If he respected her as a leader, he would be doing what she says, and he's not. He goes off and does what he wants. So they're not solid at all. Just that the media is more, I suppose you could say the establishment is more worried about Corbyn, because if Corbyn gets in, there would be a lot of changes to how the government sells weapons. Obviously, there's going to be a big debate on the nuclear weapon and all that money, which in today's era, a nuclear weapon's pointless, because the first person to fire it will just be nuclear war. No one would win because it would poison the atmosphere. So, only a nut job would be the first person to fire the nuclear weapon. And whoever did that, they would aim it at other countries that's got nuclear weapons. So people say nuclear weapons keeps us safe. No, it doesn't. It puts a target on our country. Because the first point of call the military people was going to do is say, right, what country's got nuclear weapons and can hit us back? You know? So basically, our command and control structures would be the ones that gets hit with a nuclear weapon first. You know, it's common sense tactically. You know, you're going to take out what could do the same damage as you. So, you know, at the end of the day, a nuclear weapon is a waste of money. And I never had that. This has been new really, because I always used to think the same as a principle. My parents always used to teach me, if somebody hits me, I hit them back. Now you can apply that principle to a nuclear weapon. Well, if somebody fires a nuclear weapon at us, we can fire one back. But then you've got to look at, well, what's the consequences of that? You know, it's not like a punch in the playground when you're a kid, is it? You know, you're wiping out hundreds of thousands of people. And also, because we know the damage of what nuclear weapon and all the waste from it does, you know, no one would win. So I just think, well, let's stop being a target for other nuclear nations and get rid of them, and let's use all that money. Half of it could go back into the Navy to get the latest planes on our 2 aircraft carriers faster than what's currently planned, which I think would be more beneficial to have 2 aircraft carriers constantly at sea. I think that'd be far better for our defence. And then the other half could go into NHS and other bits and bobs like that. But yeah, I suppose I have a bit swayed from what I was talking about. But going back to democracy, in this country, democracy is in a mess. The foundations over the Labour Party and the way that the MPs are doing this is destroying democracy. And that's our foundations as a country. If those foundations goes, what is democracy then? You know? Well, I'll stop ranting now. But yeah, that's how I feel, and it's just so frustrating, you know. And if you did like it, please like the video at the bottom. Ta-da.